The show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, everybody.
Good evening, everyone.
I hope you enjoyed that video for our special guests tonight. Jen and Beatrice are our guests. They're going to be talking about Juston Root, and we're going to finally get a good long platform for them to talk about what they want to talk about, and we can get a better idea of the story. Because I know I need to be a little bit educated in it. I don't know every single detail, so I really, really would like to. So I'm really excited they're on tonight. So welcome. Welcome.
Well done.
I also want just real quick, I just wanted to just kind of get a message out to everybody. I know this, we call each other the boots on the ground family, and we're a close, happy, loving family. And before anything, we're a family. So that being said, we have each other's backs. Whatever is aired on the show or whatever it goes live on the show, whatever's said on the show, we have everyone's back. We wouldn't give them the camera if we didn't. We're not going to stand for harassment, threats, unfair exposure, because the people in this movement have the hugest hearts. And whatever they do is with good intention, and their hearts are in the right place, and that can't be denied. So go us.
Go team. Go team.
We're all human beings. We all have feelings. We all have natural feelings that are going to come out. And I think we just need to let people have those feelings and then move on. It's part of life. And so that's all I have to say about that.
Well said. I agree 100%. We press forward and we do what we do. You know, we continue to do what we do. So, speaking of which, let's get through the housekeeping here and get to our guests. So, what do we got? Let's talk about. Let's see. Thank you all for being here again. Like and subscribe to the channel. We get the Facebook page. Check us out over there. We have one rule in that on the Facebook page. What's that rule again?
Don't be a dick.
That's it, pretty much. So yeah, aside from that, you're pretty much in. So as soon as you cross that rule, then you're gone.
You're gone.
Yeah. So we got pinned to the top. I think I pinned to the chat. If you want to support the channel or get some merch, we're getting a lot of orders now. The weather's getting cold and people are checking out on the hoodies. So reach out to us if you have any questions. We actually got to update the page here too. YouTube doesn't have the stuff in the description, all that.
Right? Yeah, I've been meaning to change the description because we changed quite a bit or morphed quite a bit. So I've been just have to find the time to do it.
Let's see. So we've been doing Sundays with Jen. We'll continue to do Sundays with Jen. We didn't get to go this past Sunday because it was my birthday, and no offense to anybody or Jen, but I didn't want to have to think on my birthday.
We were pretty exhausted this weekend. It was very very long weekend.
It was a long weekend. So but Sundays with Jen, we'll see what comes of this week. It's a holiday week, obviously. So before we forget to, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Enjoy your week and your holiday and your families and your food.
Meals of food.
Meals of food.
Enjoy your meals of food.
So if you want to get some merch and stay warm, check it out. Venmo, reach out. You have any questions, let us know. It's $50 for the hoodies and $30 for the t-shirts and the hats.
I am ordering. I had it kind of, my whole order fell apart, and I found new trucker hats that I think are gonna look really cool. So they're coming, I swear. And also winter hats; those are coming as well. So stay tuned, because I know I'm gonna need a winter hat. So yeah.
So Sundays with Jen. which is this. We do Sundays with Jen. Everybody check in. We talk about all things Canton and beyond, the good and the bad. So it's always a good topic.
And whatever Jen wants to say.
Yeah, exactly. This Friday, reminder, day after Thanksgiving is not only Black Friday, but it's also Pink Friday.
Pink Friday.
So if you want to donate to Karen's Legal Defense Fund, we can talk about today's events later as well. But yeah, donate to Karen's Defense Fund on Friday if you're out and about and doing your. I personally will be doing my shopping online again this year.
Yes, we're online shopping.
Yeah, I can't go out. It's terrible.
That's it.
Shout out to Microdots real quick. Richie is the man.
Richie is the man.
I appreciate what he does, and that last video that he put out was absolutely insane. He's so good. He's working with Mizzy as well on some Birchmore stuff that's been in the works quite a bit, but no updates at this stage. But when it comes out, I'm sure it's going to be awesome. I'm looking quite forward to it. What else? This Sunday, is it this Sunday? December 8th? Holy shit.
That's not this Sunday.
Oh, next Sunday.
Next
Okay.
Sunday.
Oh my God. I'm like, what the hell is the date? Anyway, I forgot I put a song with that one. But yeah, Eric is having the craft fair down at the Star Drive-In. Everything is all teed up and ready to go. We're just waiting for the day to get here. So December 8th, check out the Star Drive-In, all the food.
Also, there's I saw a couple people collecting some things from Karen with her signature on it and stuff like that for to sell at the Star Drive-In too, I believe. So you might want to get down there. Check it out.
There'll be some cool stuff.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff.
All kinds of vendors, and I think there's going to be reindeer rides, which I think it's a little
Reindeer ride.
little horse or something.
I want a reindeer ride.
What else? Kate won the.
Oh yeah, Kate won
Thing.
the frame with all the signatures on it.
Is that it?
Yeah, do you want to play it now? Is that her video? Or is
Yeah,
that
that's
you?
her video.
She has a message that she'd like to send. So we're gonna play that now.
Hello, and thank you for coming to my camp talk today. For those of you that are not aware, I bring the sunshine on the rainy days. So there's no rainy days here in my world. And I also wanted to share something really exciting with you that came home today. It is something that I will cherish forever. I don't think people understand what this means. If you don't know, you just don't know. And I'm sorry you don't know. Here we are. All of these humans that I have spent so much time and energy with for one common goal. And what's that? Justice. There's so much love in this. It's simply priceless. I want to thank my girl Dina for taking the time and making sure that as many people could sign this as possible. The love is so real. Stay focused, my friends. Justice is upon us. And sometimes no response is the best response. You're allowed to feel your feelings. Nobody gets to decide that for you. But just don't forget why we're here. I love you all.
Don't you just love Kate?
She's a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, she brings the sunshine. She's always so positive and wonderful.
Yeah.
And she's a very awesome friend.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that she won it.
Yeah, congratulations, Kate. That's fantastic. And again, thanks to Dina for getting all that legwork done. It was like a month and a half, or
That's a lot of work.
running around and getting all those signatures. I don't know how many it ended up with. I forget the number, but it raised like 20. No, was it $3,600 or something like that? I'll double check.
Yeah, something like that.
But
Good amount.
yeah, all to Karen's defense fund. So good job, Dina. Congratulations, Kate. One more thing. We'll do this one real quick.
Hey now. Hey now. What do you say, guys? Duck around and find out? Hey now.
Garrett sends me a hey now like every single week.
We have to play a Hey Now every week.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
I do want to shout out to some people who are donating. Thank you so much. Actually, Jill donated earlier in the week, $25. Thank you, Jill. I love you. Kurt is always donating. So he donated 10 tonight and I think 10 the other night. And Miss Cheryl Breen, who we just adore, donated $10. So thank you so much.
Thank you all.
We love you guys. That's so great. Oh, also big shout out to Judy, who wanted to do something to help. So she actually helped us with some of our equipment for our standouts. So Judy's just always been so generous and she's always giving to us and she's a dedicated viewer. So we love you, Judy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you, everybody. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. All right, so let's do pens and papers out, everyone. We'll do the standouts real quick and then we'll get our guests on. All right, there you have it. There's all the standouts for the week leading into next week. So I love I had to change up the song, the Bob Marley stand up. I love it so much, but I had to change it just for the sake of making the video.
I like that one. It was funky.
That was funky. I felt like, I got the cardboard out. Nobody was home. Break dancing a little bit.
You go.
Yeah, thanks. And one final thing to mention, what Tracy remembered.
Oh yeah, we went to the retirement party for the Boston Police on Friday night. Our friend Brian Albert was not in attendance, but we had a blast. It was raining, and we got a lot of unexpected support from the people. They were clearly cops pulling into the hotel to attend the banquet. So it was great.
Yeah, it was
only like a handful of us, but our message was definitely well received. And we were on Route 1, right?
Route 1, yeah.
So people were zipping by, beeping, and it was great. It was great. So keep it up, you guys.
Yep.
Whatever you can do, just get out there. Doesn't matter how many people are with you. Oh, and we had a great dinner at One Bistro, the restaurant that's in there too. So we recommend that as well.
Yeah.
Very nice staff.
We're also like food critics and stuff.
Yeah. Another YouTube channel.
For food critics. Yeah.
No,
let's not do that.
No. Okay.
All right. Fair enough. So that's all the nonsense and housekeeping and all that stuff that we have to get through. And let's bring on our guests.
You want to bring on our guests?
Yeah, I'm very excited to have these conversations.
Good. Yes, we're very excited to have them. So we're gonna have Jen and Beatrice. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear us? You can hear us okay? Everything sounds good?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, good. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Tracy, thank you so much for making that that beautiful intro, Justin. I like literally thought I was really gonna like start, sobbing. So I'm gonna watch it later. The volume on because it was so emotional. Because sometimes you're in this journey, but you don't really have this reflection or
Right.
go back on pictures. So a lot came up for me there, but it was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I do it. Like you kind of get to the heart of what's actually going on and who's actually on the show and why. And I really I put a lot of thought into it. So I'm glad that you liked it. So makes me happy.
Yeah. I saw you backstage, and I could tell you're a little emotional by it. I'm like, oh no, what'd you do?
I know. I'm like, you can't cry too.
You don't really get time to like sit back and see something, and especially something that you haven't done yourself. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. It was just, I had to go get some tissues.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, look at you.
No, it's nice.
Be nice. Well,
so talented.
Skills. I tell her all she got skills. But thank you both for coming on. The Juston Root story is pretty new to a lot of people, including myself. As a recent, I've gotten very, not to say very familiar, but I've more so read into it and getting familiarized with what's going on. But again, it's what you read and where you read it, right? Am I reading the right story? Am I hearing the right things? You read, I saw Morrissey's report, and oh my good God, that was mind blowing in itself. But I really think that having you on to speak about it is going to be, fantastic to help hopefully get the word out more. Like with all the other cases, the more people got involved, the more people heard about it. They started talking to different. Word of mouth is everything. But the fact that, this occurred almost 5 years ago, and you guys are still fighting for this justice is absolutely mind blowing. So, whatever you guys need us to help with, let us know. This community is amazing, and just reach out. But so let's start off. I guess we'll go to Jen. Maybe we just introduce yourself a little bit. Beatrice, we'll do you next, and then we can go from there. How you guys met, if you guys want to share a story or whatever, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah. So I'm Jen, Juston Root's sister. He was my younger brother. He was 3 years younger than me, and I met Beatrice at the Labor Day weekend standout in Dedham. And we were just standing on the corner. I don't know. And the next thing we started talking. And then I like to carry a sign called "They Can't Investigate Themselves," because that was one of the most shocking things to find out, is that oftentimes they are investigating themselves. And when we say that, it means that they have close working relationships with district attorneys' offices, and the officers all pretty much usually know each other.
Right.
So that's how our conversation started. And then I just, I told her about my brother, and, I was like, "What's your number, girl?" Anyway, we were like Team Justice. So I was like, let's, Justice Sisters.
And that's how you met, was like right there. That was it, huh? You guys talk every day, and families hang out together.
Well, we text quite often, and we met at the court. I mean, we met in person quite a few times, but we went to the court together just a few weeks ago on November 13th, and then she came over, and anyway, so the rest is history, and here we are.
Awesome. It's a great team.
What about you, Beatrice? What about your story there?
So all right. So I started, I watched the Karen Reed trial. I was outraged. And I was hearing about the standouts, and I was like, you know what? I know I was kind of like afraid to show up because I didn't know anybody, and I know there's people in the movement that have been there for a very long time. But anyways, I just said, you know what? Something was telling me, like, just show up. So I finally got the courage to go to a standout, and I figured at least I'd have something in common with everybody, because I too believe in Karen's innocence. And after watching the trial, it was like, wow, like it's unbelievable how we didn't get a not guilty, but I showed up at a standout. I met Jen. She told me about Juston, and it really touched me because I also had a brother that passed away young, of natural causes, and just hearing her story, and it just felt like this could have been avoided, had the police taken different steps. He maybe there could have been a different outcome, a more favorable outcome. And I was just, shocked with what she told me happened. And from there, we just, like she said, we became friends. We text and talk just about every day. And, I told her I have her back whenever she needs me to show up. I will be there. Whatever it takes to spread the word.
Well, it's amazing how people get kind of drawn together over the course of, something tragic. Good always comes out on top somehow, but, you guys met each other for a reason. So, us,
We're all about that. Yeah.
People, like everybody
Things
in our
happen for a
world right
reason.
now. Yeah. So it's karma, it's, destiny, whatever.
Destiny.
Call it what you will. But, I'm glad that you guys have each other, and, you guys are fighting the fight. So,
we got a lot of people in the chat. We have Esty, Tima, we have Mizzy, Anne-Marie. I mean, there's just so many wonderful people in the community. Is just, it's what renews your faith in humanity when you've had such, like for me, such a tragic, unbelievable, violent sort of killing of your loved one.
right.
It really means a lot to me.
Like I was thinking about it before you came on, and the fact that, of all the cases that are involved right now, that we're kind of, surrounded with, your case is more, and it'll kind of hit home with me a little more today, I think, only because it was your brother, right? So I haven't spoken to like anyone that was truly related to John O'Keefe, right? I haven't spoken to anybody that was Sandra or Enrique, or, so speaking to you, kind of like literally I stepped back earlier today. I was like, holy gee, wow. So again, Phil, I do apologize for your loss, and I'm sorry for your loss, and I just wanted to get that out because it impacted me today.
Thank you. And thank you for having us on so we can share more of the truth.
Yeah. So why don't we do that? Do you want to start the story from the beginning, if you can, just so everyone can get an idea of what exactly we're.
I just want to, be specific in the sense that there are two incidences here.
Okay. Yeah.
And how the second incident that took place in Brookline, which is Norfolk County, which is Michael Morrissey's territory, he handled that second incident, which is really the death investigation, because that's where they executed Juston, even though it was Boston police and one state trooper. It was actually 5 Boston police and 1 state trooper that shot the 31 bullets in Brookline. So that's how Michael Morrissey and Michael Proctor and Yuri Buchanek, Garino, Dunn, all those. Chico's everywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's all over. I mean, some of these people are in each interview. You read it, you think, I don't know. I think I'd ask a couple other questions if I really wanted to know what happened. Right. So that's how that second incident is really where we focused mostly on, because that's where it was the most egregious, and because he was literally incapacitated and covered in blood from what happened in Boston, that's where we've kind of focused a lot of the energy. And yes, Boston is an important part, and it's important because everyone knows someone or has someone they love that struggles with some sort of mental illness. And so Juston struggled with mental illness from the time he was a teenager up until his 40s. So you can have good years, and then you can have times where it's like you need a medication adjustment. He went to Mass Mental Health, which is right there at the campus of Brigham and Women's Hospital. So there are 4 facilities right there in that area. You have 20 Vining, which is Mass Mental's inpatient, and they actually walk around the neighborhood. And then you have FinFen on the corner, and then 75 Fenwood is where Juston would go, which was the outpatient for Mass Mental. And then 60 Fenwood is where the psychiatry unit is for Brigham and Women's.
Okay.
So everyone there should be very, everyone knows that there's people who are struggling with mental illness walking around there. Juston pulled into 15-minute parking, not up at the valet. That's the whole other situation. He pulled in right in front of 60 Fenwood, and in the 15-minute parking, he saw one of the Brigham security guards on his walkie-talkie. And I think because I would say that he was at that point paranoid and delusional, and I think he was thinking that they were sectioning him, or someone was going to come and take him against his will to essentially, you know, get him back on medication. And it's pretty traumatic event if your loved one gets taken that far. So he parked his car, he got out of his car and went to go talk to this Brigham and Women's security guard. And they talked for a good minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes. And that security guard noticed something clear in his waistband that he couldn't tell or if it was a gun or not, but he thought it looked like a gun. I'm not sure how he could do that because he had a good solid minute almost to stare at it from 36 inches away.
Right.
And didn't ask or whatever. My brother in the end shook his hand, put out his hand and shook his hand. And that officer, what he relayed to his command center, he never mentioned that Juston seemed delusional or paranoid or nonsensical. He actually reported that Juston had threatened, that this man had just threatened to shoot him. And so that was not true. I'm just going to say it out. I'm just like, you know what? It wasn't true. He felt threatened, and that's different than someone threatening to kill you. So that is where the immediate first sort of escalation starts. But what was transmitted to the Boston police was that there was a man with a gun. It wasn't the threat to shoot, because it sounds confusing because when you hear audio of Brigham and Women's talking to 911, it's totally chaotic, but everybody needs to know that 911 is not Boston Police Dispatch. It's not what they transmit to the officers. So I've listened to what's transmitted to the officers, and so was a person with a gun. And by the way, they get tons of these calls all the time. This is not how they end up, because otherwise we'd be hearing a lot more about it.
Right.
And the actual officer that did approach Juston on the sidewalk, he works details there a lot, all the time. He's very well versed that there are mentally ill people working around there. He, as a matter of fact, went to an incident in 2015. I got some police reports, and it was someone at 20 Vining, which is the inpatient for Mass Mental Health, that someone had a BB gun. That didn't end up with somebody killed. So that particular officer, he arrived on scene, and Juston was in the middle of the road because the Brigham and Women's security started surveillancing and following him. And I don't know why they would do that, because they don't have guns. They don't have bulletproof vests. And in fact, if Juston is really an armed and dangerous person, it makes zero sense that you would start doing that. And so that escalated things for Juston, because these people are following him, and, you know, he's thinking, what's going on? So anyway, the Boston police come. One of the officers came out on the sidewalk and confronted him, but Juston said, I'm with law enforcement. I'm with law enforcement. And he had a lanyard on. So he was displaying signs and, hi, you're in the area of a lot of mental health facilities, instead of saying, hey, do you have a license for that gun? Because you can carry in Massachusetts. So you don't just go up and, do that. And by the way, it defies logic to just go right up to someone who you actually think is an armed and dangerous gunman.
Right.
They're not trained. They're trained to take cover, to, you know, like he had another officer there. I mean, it just, none of it makes any sense. And then we also have a security guard who was across the street 60 feet away, who said that he would identify what Juston had as a toy. But apparently this officer of 20 years, who gets so close within 36 inches, can't tell.
Wow.
That's a toy.
Wow.
I'm never going to believe that. I think that's total, absolute BS.
Yep.
I think it was a situation where he didn't really know what was going on, and he just, you know, took things to another level when really he should be working on de-escalating a situation and having a conversation. So anyway, he shot 5 bullets. Him and Juston tussled on the ground. Can't get all the details because, you know, there's missing camera footage up above. Convenient. Multiple cameras. It's not just one. It's not just 2. Okay. It's multiple cameras that would give us a better viewpoint of what that officer actually saw. And they would also see that it got damaged significantly. But him and this officer were in the crosswalk because the other officer was shooting 10 bullets. Well, that other officer fell backwards because he tripped himself backwards. Juston did not attack him. He tripped backwards. Other officers shooting 10 bullets, and then Juston fell on top of him, his legs. And so they have, I mean, I've enlarged it and looked at it. You know, I'd like to see the videos above. But anyway,
yeah, clearly.
They shot 15 bullets in Boston. You know, they didn't put that out in the news. But that's shocking in and of itself, because that means we're all in danger. And as a matter of fact, one of those bullets ricocheted and hit the valet in the head up at the 75 Francis. So, yeah.
Was it the valet that identified that thought he had a toy gun or whatever?
No. So the valet is a little bit up the street. So this shade right up the street, and this is why you don't shoot like 15 bullets in a hospital area with lots of cement, because it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was reckless. I mean, it was absolutely, I mean, even when I went there in April for something, I was like looking around. I'm like, okay, who has guns? And, you know, now I'm just like, actually, I think that in a lot of places, because I think, what if an officer thinks someone's cell phone is a gun? I mean, I don't know. Is that our first line of just taking out a gun? Because when you take out a gun, you're using deadly force.
Yeah.
You are committing to using your gun. It's not just, hey, I'm gonna, you know. So anyway, so Juston was shot, and he limped to his car. The other officers stopped shooting. I can guess why. And then he got in his car. He drove away slowly. He was driving slow on Huntington Ave. He had 4 or 5 cars directly behind him, none of which could run a simple license plate run, which is what you do when you want to identify your subject. That's the first thing you do.
Right.
Juston was filed with them because 11 months prior, he had got on their file list because he went to the police station and he exhibited signs of needing mental health and evaluation, and that's what they got for him. So he was in their system. All they had to do is run a license plate.
Right.
Maybe they did. I'll never know. So one officer decided, well, Juston's bleeding out in the car. This officer came around, did a pit maneuver, which is like you hit someone violently, so your car comes to a stop. So it was then that Juston took off down Route 9. And again, he's bleeding out at this point. They're shooting down Route 9. Brookline police join them. And then he crashes in Chestnut Hill at a very high speed. His car goes sideways, wheels come off, and then he pulls right into, not pulled in, but he landed kind of right near a mulch area. And that's where he got out of his car. There were multiple wheels off of his car, all airbags deployed. He was not in good shape at all. So he walked out of his car, got out of his car. He collapsed on the sidewalk, leaving a bunch of blood So they all ran through his blood too, and saw his car and knew he was shot. He then hobbled, like staggered to this very small mulch area, which a lot of us now have gone and visited and seen just how small it is. And you don't really get it until you're in the space where you're just like, okay, so whatever. I mean, it's kind of like when you think about the lawn at Brian Albert's house, like
Yeah.
I've heard that when you go to see it in person, that it looks so much, you just have a different viewpoint, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yep.
And that's the same for the mulch area there. And so there was a certified trained EMT who was just sitting in her car waiting for her appointment. She saw Juston fall the first time. And then while he was, staggering to the mulch, she started running towards him to help him. He dropped into the mulch area. I would say he collapsed again. And she was at his side with her hand on him. And she said, I could only find this one part on his shoulder that didn't have so much blood, that his jacket was saturated in blood, stuck to him, that she was trying to find a stick to open it because she didn't know what was going on. She was like, I thought he was having a heart attack, but then I was like, where's all this blood? He had a car accident. She was like, and it was only seconds, but when you're in a really traumatic situation, seconds can feel like minutes, and it can feel really long. So while she's at him, all these officers started running with their guns out, and they told her to run. And so she did. And seconds later, one officer, the one who did the pit maneuver, felt comfortable enough to touch and kick him. And then they did a semicircle around him and shot 31 bullets. Okay, that's freaking not, I mean, every part of it's not okay. A bullet went across the parking lot. People I know shop there with their kids. Excessive force puts us all in danger. There was no, the Boston police officer that was the one on the ground with him, he was the closest to Juston in Brookline. And so he also had his body-worn camera on, but he lied and said that he didn't, and it was in his duty bag, and you see him toss it into the cruiser. He said after on a body-worn camera, I killed the mother F. I emptied my magazine on him. They're all in the video going like this to warn each other that the video's on for their body-worn camera. The state troopers don't talk, you got a rep coming. I mean, it was like, anybody who watches all those body-worn cameras, I mean, it's appalling, straight up. You can't even believe that this is happening and occurring. And, that's a whole other subject, but
yeah.
So basically what happened is, Michael Morrissey, Fanning was there immediately. We have John Fanning who was there immediately. And the cleanup and the whatever started to occur. And the next day you have Yuri Buchanan who finds the 8 bullets from the Boston police officer who had been in Boston with Juston. And then again in Chestnut Hill, who just happened to have somebody else's department issued firearm, maybe. So they find 8 bullets casings in the shallow bush right there. And I'm like, Yuri, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he interviewed about 7 Brookline police officers, didn't record them. Someone I know did a public records request asking for the notes because he just does, a little synopsis of their conversation. And I'm thinking, so this is how they do it. Nobody signs the report. It's him. I'm like, okay, this is how the narrative and everything gets pieced together. Michael Morrissey's office, they did a 30-day investigation, and I'm sure it was pretty much done hour 1.
Right.
Okay, well, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's hour 1. Let's not be come on. I mean, their whole investigation was about exonerating the officers and not getting to the truth. They didn't care what Juston's condition was. They didn't care to say, gosh, you kind of know if someone has a massive accident like that, covered all in blood, I mean, they might be completely out of it, in which he was.
Right.
She described him with his eyes rolling the back of his head, gurgling blood. these officers should never, first of all, gotten that close to a threat if they're really following their training. But he was contained. He wasn't going anywhere. She was clearly not afraid.
Right.
But these officers with guns were. Makes no sense. I always say, like, make it make sense. Can't make sense of it. And then, you know, that's how it's been. That's what went down. And
so were you able, did you talk to the EMT personally, or do you, I mean, how did you get, you know, the story from that side?
So the first time to meet her was with my lawyers, because you have to be very, you know, you have to keep everything like solid, because nobody ever wants to have, you know, witness contamination, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we know that well.
Yeah. So, like, you know, but the thing is she was interviewed that day.
Okay.
The 5 Boston police officers and the 1 state trooper, pretty much the Boston police officers were interviewed 5 days later. And pretty much most of them all met as a group beforehand with their union rep and lawyer. I don't know. You're not supposed to like meet all together before you're interviewed.
Right.
You can't come up with all the same story, because what they say is he was reaching. He was reaching for a gun, right? And just, you know, there was a BB gun with a large metal rod coming out of it that was recovered on scene. We know that it wasn't in Juston's hand, because his right hand was shot 4 times, one of which was on the inside of his palm. So that means that entrance went here on his right hand. You can't have anything. And if you did, it would be completely damaged, because it's like, you know, so we know that nothing was in his hands. So that's where we are. I mean, seeing the Karen Reed trial starting up and all these same characters, just infuriating.
And just for clarification purposes, this happened at 9:30 in the morning. And then the shopping center where the mulch area is, we're talking about a Star Market supermarket. Like, you know, like one of the things when Jen and I have talked about this, it's like there could have been people out doing their grocery shopping. It's right there in the parking lot. So, you know, just for clarification purposes, this is at 9:30 on what day of the week was it, Jen?
It was Friday.
Wow.
So, you know, it's daytime when there's people walking around in Boston near the, you know, walking around, going for appointments.
Right.
You know, just busy areas all around.
Now, was there any footage of that incident captured at any of like the local businesses when that happened, or?
So the Norfolk DA's office, there is a Chase ATM that had 2 cameras on it. They at first told my lawyers that it was facing the wrong direction. And then when I started to press and said, well, I'd like to see it. I don't care what.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I want to see it. And then it was, they don't have it.
Okay.
They don't have it. And I'm like, that would be like the first footage that anybody who cared to know anything would get. So I don't believe, I mean, everything you have to take with almost a grain, like everything I look at, I'm like, well, they could have doctored that video. I don't know, you know, like I just can't trust. I don't trust the process. The process definitely can't be trusted. And then this is the thing. That day, they put out the one-sided self-serving narrative. You had Gregory Long, who had a press conference and literally insinuated that Juston had shot someone at Brigham.
Wow.
And that he would not put down the gun in Brookline, so they had to shoot him. And that's exactly what Michael Proctor called and told my stepmother, that Juston shot someone at the hospital. And by the way, they saw the clear plastic paintball guns.
Right.
So I don't know where they go from that to like actually like they're going to tell the public, but that's part of the issue. And this is what happens in a lot of times when officers are involved with a death. A different narrative gets put out there so that the public is not thinking twice about it.
Right.
Everything I watch in the news now, I literally am like, okay.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? I'm sure it's totally different.
Yeah.
And that's what's, very frustrating with the mainstream media.
So this occurred in February of 2020, correct?
Yes.
So, not to get into anything Karen Reed related, fully, but your mind must have been like, what the heck is going on when you started hearing about the Karen Reed case and you started getting all those crossover names, like we're reacting the same way now that we're looking at Juston's case and being like, oh my God, like look at these people that are all involved. It's crazy. It's so insane.
Yeah.
I knew. I mean, I remember when I first heard the story, like, the same thing about like she hit her boyfriend in the driveway and left, or, like just what they had put out. And, nobody thinks about it. But then once more information started coming out, I'd say about April 2023.
Yep.
Around. Yeah. Then I was like, oh, those people?
Yeah.
I was like, oh snap, she's got her hands full with those folks, because I'm like, I can only take a guess on how they conducted that investigation.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's where I was like, come on. I mean, she is factually innocent. Anyone who looks at the facts, it's like, it's a really big stretch. It's such a big stretch that I'm like, why is our tax dollars paying for this?
Right. Absolutely.
And you're going to try her again, and you're taking someone's life when the person that she loved was murdered.
Right.
I mean, that's like it's very traumatic, and it's almost like this road, it never ends.
Yep. And you don't know how long this has been going on with this group, Go ahead, Beatrice. I'm sorry.
So these 3 cases were all 24 months apart.
Wow, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So
That's-
Sandra,
that's
Juston,
great.
and Karen Reed.
Wow.
Yeah. And Sandra was, Juston was February 7th, 2020. Sandra was February 4th, 2021. And then John was January 29th, 2022.
Yep.
That's
Oh my
24
God.
months.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Dude, yeah. The whole thing it really, everybody's so involved in all of these stories, and the more you really learn and you hear things like this, like again, nothing surprises me with this group. That whole Norfolk County is so damn corrupt, but to hear it, like, you can't make this stuff up. This is like out of movie, like the corruption, how far back it goes, how high up it goes, even we don't know. And that's, do you think the feds will have any impact as well, or have they impacted anything in your case?
I hope. I did meet when Maura Healey was AG. We did meet with her in person for about an hour and a half. But they like to have meetings just so they can say that they met with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's you get the very short email. Oh, we're looking into that. Oh, whatever it is, you just know, like, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I literally legit know our governor, our attorney general is going to do zero smack do not think or have any type of confidence in the fact that they will. I will be extremely shocked. And just so everybody knows, like, Andrea Campbell was Juston's city councilor. I had conversations with her when she was a city councilor about Juston.
Really?
To tell you that I am disappointed in her is an understatement.
Okay,
we had a little banter with each other that we were going to have Rachel Rollins, because she was U.S. attorney, that we were going to try to get, I said, well, I want her to look at Juston's case, because I had met with Rachel Rollins in person, and then I had a long Zoom meeting with her. We were having that conversation, and then all of a sudden it's like, you're AG now.
Right.
Be off on your upper management. Anyway, it's very disappointing. So our only hope is Joshua Levy.
Yes.
We'll have to see how that unfolds. I think that this goes very high up the chain. There are some very powerful people who have a lot of pull.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I think what the most that people can do is stay unified, take the people power, get that people power going. And like I always say, like, we are stronger together. And so the more and more of us that can get together and show our elected officials and the public, we're not going anywhere and we're serious, because this is, I mean, for me, this has been totally, absolutely life-changing. I mean, it just flips your whole entire world. I remember I'm going to tell you about the first year that I had Justin's vigil, which I have his vigil every year on February 7th at 9:15 in the morning, and at 9:29 we have a moment of silence for the 31 bullets they shot. So we do that every year there. And I remember the first year where I actually cried the day before, because I said, 1 year ago, I didn't know what I knew. And it's really hard. Once you know, you can't unknow.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I try to just tell people, and, as many people as I can, right? But, I even with my neighbors, they'd be like, Jen, what have you been up to? I'm like, fucking murder. Murder. I've been doing murder all day. I've been looking at my dead brother's body, looking at what they're doing to him in the mulch. I would put a sticky over his head because I couldn't, but I had to do it because you know what? No one else was going to do it.
Right.
Norfolk DA didn't even know that officer from Boston had his body worn camera on. They didn't even see the video of him tossing it into his cruiser. Like, come on. Like, what kind of investigation is that? You don't even know that? Like, anyway, I won't go on a tangent there.
And that was the investigation done by Yuri and Proctor and all that whole group, right? So go figure. Yeah.
Fanning was, John Fanning, I met him a couple times, and I went and I got my brother's phone from him. I have no words for that group.
Wow.
You have to be a certain level of non-human,
Right,
to be operating at that level of, just not taking into the fact that you're like hurting people's lives. And it's not just them. It radiates through your family, your children, your loved ones, their friends. I mean, my neighbors now, because they know a lot about Justin's case, their eyes are like, whoa, I mean, it's, but that's what it is. It's education, right? We're here at an educational standpoint to educate people.
Right. True.
And that's why the first thing is I didn't know that they investigate themselves. All their buddies come in and they take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, come on. We all know that they can't be impartial and they can't be transparent. That's not how we get to accountability. And like, who allowed that in the first place? I mean, hello, like, really? You're going to let them? And a lot of other states, they have different, programs. And I'm sure there's negatives to every, there's problems in every form of that, but it certainly can be better than what it is now.
Right.
Like,
is that normal protocol for them to investigate themselves, or is that just something that they've done?
Yeah, that's what they do. I mean, you've got to question everything, every death. I would question every death that an officer was involved in or indirectly, because they come in and they all know each other. I mean, and they work with the district attorney. So like the Norfolk DA's office worked with the Boston police officers to, do Justin's investigation or whatever investigation. They work together. I'm like, you guys like all know each other.
That's just,
how is that okay? And it's not okay. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
I read that the Middlesex County DA recuses themselves and then does a judicial inquest instead of having their department investigate their own people. I mean, did you hear anything about that? I mean, obviously Morrissey's not going to do that at all. That's totally out of his vision.
That's Marion Ryan, and I've spoke to multiple families who've had her as their district attorney, because now I'm in the club of you know, your loved one was killed by law enforcement.
Yep.
What I can express from, you know, several different people is that they were not happy with it at all. So think of it this way. You go in to ask questions, but you haven't had it really investigated, right? So if you go in and you interview one person and you get everything from them, and then you interview another person to get everything from them, then once you have all of the collective information, then you could actually have some really good questions going on. But this is the thing. We have something called qualified immunity. Okay, so qualified immunity means if the officer says they were in fear for their life, and that's literally all you have to be, is in fear for your life, they're always justified in killing someone. Like if you go start looking into Massachusetts, 99.99999, they're all justified. Nobody has that percentage rate of being, you know, all good. So that's the problem with that, with the inquest. I mean, it's a nice thought. It's a nice, you know, what I like to say, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what it sounds like for sure. Yeah, I had read that and I knew nothing much more about it. You know, I've heard the term before, but I'm like, I don't know how impactful it would be, but it sounds like it is just a bunch of smoke. So, and then again, for Morrissey, either way, you're not gonna win with that guy, crying out loud. Terrible.
No, he's got to go.
Yeah. So speaking of him, so didn't you something about a new investigation? Is there a petition? Is that what the petition is for one?
Yeah, so I've had a petition request demanding an independent investigation for a very long time. I know that NBC, because they just did a small piece last week, which I was not very happy about. They know that. They didn't do the full story. They didn't show these things in which I showed them, which was Juston on the ground with the EMT at his side. That's him dropped in the mulch area.
Yeah.
And then this is how close they were. This is literally right before they shot him. I mean, they're on top of him. You look at the bush.
Oh my God.
They're literally on top of him, and they didn't show that. And I literally was like, we stood and looked at these pictures, and you didn't even show it.
Wow.
You just show Boston. You don't show what the paintball gun looks like. I'm like, you know, whatever. I said, you're part of the problem.
Yeah, that's for sure. Wow.
And just for clarity too.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. And just for clarity, so they know when he was in Boston, he didn't shoot anybody. He was the one that was shot at. And then in Brookline, he was on the ground. What threat was he at that point on the ground when they knew he hadn't shot anybody before? So if they were given misinformation, they know none of the officers were shot because, I mean, they followed behind him.
Right.
So once he's on the ground, what threat was he?
Right.
That, that a woman would be by his side trying to help. Like it just doesn't make it make sense because in those pictures, you can see him on the ground. He was not a threat. They could have possibly had, taken him in and got him help and taken him to the hospital.
Yep.
So it's unbelievable.
He was just in a high-speed car accident as well. Like to take that into consideration, like you had said, Jen, like you get out of an accident like that, you're disoriented, you don't know what the heck's going on, and that's what they're gonna.
The incident should have been over just right there.
Yeah.
They had so many other options they could have chosen.
I mean, if that one officer, the one who did the pit maneuver and then shot 10 bullets in Brookline, the one who kicked him,
yeah,
if he was comfortable enough to make contact with Juston, he could have just apprehended him. I'm sure he did not want to get bloody though. So,
well, yeah.
I mean, that's what I think about. And then, you know what, Beatrice, with you saying that, it wasn't until, so they shot Juston at like 9:29, 42 or something, right? But so before 9:30, just before, no one knew that someone was shot at Brigham until 9:32. And I know that because I listened to all the radio of every single Boston police officer that responded to Brookline. I listened to the whole ride of each one of them. So
Yeah.
nobody knew until 9:32 that someone was shot. And the other thing that I had a problem with NBC is that Juston was in fact shot 31. He had 31 entry bullets, okay, and 5 grazed shots. So that's 36 times. They tell the public, Morrissey, he says 26 bullets. So 26 bullets, you know what they're saying? It's to the body, but they didn't include the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had 1 to his left hand, 4 to his right, and then 5 grazed shots. They didn't include those. And I said to NBC, I said, you said 26. And he's like, well, you know, Morrissey's report. I'm like, but you're just going by Morrissey's report. And I gave you the chief medical examiner of Massachusetts. I gave you the official report, and that supersedes whatever he says.
Wow.
They don't want to cross them. They don't want to dabble in that space. And that's, you know, I get it. They're not going to get the next story, right? So we have to have some sort of laws in place that no matter what, the North, like whatever DA's offices, they always have to give the news to the main outlets. They can't withhold stuff, because I think that must be, I mean, I'm just guessing, that must be what's happening, because otherwise it just, again, make it make sense.
Right.
Why?
So let me ask you this. So this happened on a Friday morning. I mean, where were you when this happened, and how did you find out?
Oh, that was bad. That was a bad one.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I was, I had just sent an email on a big thing, which was a forensic accountant. I was sending something to a forensic accountant because, whatever, my husband got involved with somebody and there was a lot of money missing. So I had just sent a huge file. I was like, whew, okay. And I had done all the research, right? But I compiled everything up so that we could have an official person, you know, document stuff. And I just pressed send, and I thought, okay, that trauma is over. And I got a knock or a ring at the door, and it was a newscaster person in a camera. And the guy said, you know, Jason Root. And I said, and I always knew that, like, Jason, Juston, Jessica, Jen, like, I was like, so I was kind of like, huh. I was like, no, but, you know, and then when he showed me the picture of my brother's car in Chestnut Hill, that's when it was like, whoa. Wow. And I don't know what happened to me, but thank God my kids weren't home, because I'm telling you right now, I would probably be moving holy hell if my kids were home, because I actually started spiraling. I didn't even know what was going on. And I kept shutting the door. Like, it's going to go away if I just shut the door.
Right.
It's like your worst nightmare. And actually, a lot of families who have, you know, their sons that, you know, or their daughters suffering with mental illness, this is like their biggest fear, that they're going to be killed by the police. Yep. And I always was afraid. And all of a sudden it was actually happening, literally happening at them. And I was like, everything was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I don't know. And then the guy realized that, like, I didn't know, because I was, you know, and then he was like, do you want to say anything? And I'm like, no. I start freaking, no. And I'm like screaming at him. And I'm like, I want to talk to my dad. I want to talk to my dad. And I don't know. I want to shut the door. And that was it. And then that's how it.
Oh my God.
I had to get Ring doorbell cameras. I had to get do not trespass signs, because then I had the media here and I have kids, and I'm like, okay. And I didn't want to tell my kids what happened. I mean, I just that Juston got in a really bad car accident. He didn't make it. And then they had their first sleepovers ever. My friends took them, different friends took each one of my kids. And that was the first time they ever slept over anybody's house. And because I was a total mess.
I can't imagine. Oh my God.
It was so, everything was so surreal. And then we went right into COVID. Oh. And I was like, I didn't know if I was actually alive. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to be honest. I really was like, I didn't know what was going on. Then we had a house being built behind us. The house was shaking 6 days a week. And my kids are home. And I was like, I was literally like, this has got to be the Twilight Zone, because Twilight Zone. And so we never were able to have a memorial or anything for Juston. We did cremate him at the Forest Hill Cemetery. And, you know, it looks like now this February we'll now have his celebration of life finally. Because we've been in legal stuff too for the last
Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
You got to do your own investigation, so it takes up a lot of time when you're reviewing tens of thousands of documents.
yeah, I bet. And it just never, I'm sure it never ends, right? They just, there's always new things coming across your desk, that's just, so what was he like? What was Juston like as a person? I know Beatrice shared a few things with me, and I didn't have time to upload everything that I wanted to, so I apologize. But he had some music that he was into. He created his own music.
Yeah.
I mean, was that like a true passion of his that he looked to pursue that, or how was that going for him?
Yeah. He had a CD. And yeah, he made his own music. He wrote his own lyrics, and they were very much like DNA terrorists and everything is backwards.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That really spoke. Everything is backwards really spoke to me around the time that Juston died, because he also would play on numbers. And so Juston's birthday is January 27th.
Okay.
And, and then you think that February is 2, and then 7 is when he died, like 2/7 he died. I don't know, like all the numbers and everything was backwards. I was like, all right, I hear you, Juston. Yeah, he was you knew when he walked in the room.
Yeah.
And he definitely gave the biggest bear hugs, and he would eat all the food in my house. And he didn't drink regular milk, so he would like drink all the soy milk, and I'm like, okay, hold on, my son still has to have some left. Like, but he always helped me with everything. And yeah, I mean, you now have all these holidays and you don't have that person there, and it's tough.
Now, how big was he? He looks like he was a tall guy. How tall was he?
Yeah, he was like 6'1".
Okay, yeah, you see the pictures. He looked like he was a tall guy.
Yeah, he was tall. I call him my like little big brother.
It's cute.
Yeah, and that's where Just One came from. Because he would add an E to the end of his name, and he would say that we are just one. And so that's what really resonated to me. And in the beginning, when I wasn't, so versed in doing like a lot of speaking, but then also speaking about something that's very traumatic. And I've told this story, thousands and like 1,000 times now, so I would pray to him to lead me to the better good of people and to use his story for that, because he's gone. I mean, he's dead, he's gone. And that's what I would just channel in to him. And then I would say, we are just one. Mm-hmm. And we're one world and we're one people. And that's really the message. The message is that's a message he wanted people to know. And he had a really big heart. He loved all sorts of people from all different walks of life. And I always say, bigger heart than mine. But a great listener. And, he took care of my mom, a lot of her stuff. So now that falls to me.
That's, it's so sad. I mean, again, you lose a family member. It's tragic in itself, but, to know that he was such a good person, kind-hearted, and, I mean, yeah, you ate all your food and everything. But
all right, I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'll make you another sandwich.
He also struggled with mental illness, so he did have some episodes. But I always explain it to people. It's like watching someone die over and over, and it's sad because sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not there.
Yep.
And he definitely probably did some far out things when he was not in his right mind. But those are the things that I don't let overshadow the essence of who he was,
Right. Oh, absolutely. You can't let that didn't define him as a person. That was an illness, right? It's an illness. So
yeah.
So Beatrice, when you started got more involved in this? I mean, do you have things coming across your desk as well? Do you guys like you a tandem? Do you team up and work together to get everything accomplished, or what?
Well, sometimes Jen sends me information. But I mean, I think I always go back to the fact that if the police had used like de-escalation tactics, like I had looked up like the Boston Police Department, like I don't know, some kind of manual that they have online. And, there's certain categories, mental illness or mental health issues are on there. And they should have been using different de-escalation tactics. And again, it just feels like all of this could have been avoided had they taken different steps
Right.
because so it's crazy to think that this could have turned out differently, and especially the fact that he had just shaken the security officer's hand, the security guard's hand.
Right.
Like I've watched that video with Jen, and he doesn't look threatening at all. At all. Like he calmly walks up to the person, has a conversation, calmly walks away, gets in his vehicle. Like it didn't need to go down like this. If he was any kind of threat, they should have apprehended him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely ways they can de-escalate situations. Like, to your point, when that first happened in Brookline, I mean, you're in the hub, right? That's what those people, majority of the people, or a lot of people in the area, are there for treatment of sorts. They should know. It just really blows my mind that they reacted the way they did. Why would you do that? But you look at like the way, Brookline's not Norfolk County, but you look at the way these people look out for each other. And I understand there's a brotherhood, and call it what you will. I was in the military. We have it's a code, to a point, right? But if you're going to be, you're covering for people that are completely, murderers, you're covering for people that killed someone. It's mind blowing to me that people can actually live with themselves. Like, how do you go about your day? How do you go home and you go to your families and your children and you hug your kids and tuck them in at night and be like, I had a great day today? I said, no, wait a minute, what? No.
So you just reminded me of him. We were doing one deposition with one of the officers, the one that kicked him. My dad was in the room with us, and they were able to make like a really quick call to like a judge, and they had my dad removed from the room because the officer didn't feel comfortable talking with my dad being present.
Are you freaking?
And then they used the well, he's not on the suit, and it's like, oh, well, he should just totally own it. I mean, if he killed somebody, own it and come,
right.
Like you're going to have a problem. But it's like, you know what? I know when you meet your maker at the end of the day, you know what you did. You know what you did.
Right.
You do. I know they all know.
Yeah.
They know. And some will try to say like, no, and he should have listened and blah, blah, blah. It's like, are you serious? You're really going to expect someone who can't even talk, covered in blood, who just had a massive, massive accident, and you knew he was shot. You all knew he was shot.
Right.
It was said over the radio. Come on. I mean,
yeah, nothing adds up. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, when I was reading through, the past couple of days, trying to get as familiar as I could before you guys come on tonight, my jaw was literally on the floor. I couldn't believe what I was reading. And Morrissey's report is just the shit that he put in there is just so. I mean, it's like a movie script.
They all yell gun, and it's like it's not in the audio.
Right. Yeah. It's
right. And even when they're walking away in the body one camera footage, so there's one police officer walking away, and another one is the one that the camera is facing, and they're like, "Oh, let me turn around, let me check you out. Did he shoot you?" Like almost like seriously, like just to almost like the game, I think, started at that point, the cover up, the whatever you want to call it, because he never shot anybody from anywhere.
Right.
So how are they checking each other out to make sure that nobody shot? The only one that could have possibly shot this other officer was another officer.
Right.
So it's like,
And
but
that's
the way it was like very theatrical. Like, oh, let me check. Oh, turn around. Let me look at you. Like,
And how did the officer in Boston, both officers, by the way, I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures, how close they were, but, and some people will say, oh, well, the officers just couldn't notice. I'm like, well, they're literally like one car away from each other. I don't know. I would hope that an officer would be able to like see another car that has lights flashing. I mean, you might, like, how can you not see that? And by the way, that officer who shot the 10 bullets, how did he know who was the officer, who was not the officer?
Right.
That's what I wanted to know. I'm like, we don't know.
I just pinned the petition into the chat. So if anybody wants to link on that and take a peek, go in and sign. You want to tell us a little more about the petition? Actually, what's on there, Jen or Beatrice?
Yes, so the petition will basically just gives a more synopsis of what happened. And then it just states that the investigation by Michael Morrissey was done in 30 days. And again, Norfolk County is Brookline, and that's where the shooting occurred. And so it just points out that they left out, the observations of the certified EMT bystander that was with him, with her hands on him, literally seconds before this. Someone doesn't miraculously just in 3 seconds stand up and, state, like, I don't know, but anyway, officers had different accounts. One says he's standing, one says he's kneeling. I mean, like, anyway, the courts, though, they think there was nothing wrong with it. And so they dismissed Juston's suit, civil lawsuit. So they don't take credibility, people lying, people meeting together before their interviews. They don't take into consideration Shelley. They just narrowed her things down to one sentence, and then keep referring to a Dr. G from Brigham and Women's who was across the street in another lane. They keep saying he was a bystander that, can concur what the police said. And I'm like, how could he even see across the street when they're all surrounding him? And your colleague is in the next lane who says he doesn't know how you could have seen that. He was never actually deposed. So in courts, you're not supposed to use that testimony or that, because it hasn't been tested. You never got to put him under oath and ask the real questions. And so, again, the court looked the other way. They think that, and by the way, he was former law enforcement too.
Of course he was.
Brigham. I'm like, okay, but it's a very frustrating process. Everyone should know that Juston's case is with the United States Supreme Court right now. We filed on September 9th, November 15th. The trooper and the 5 Boston police officers, they filed their response. We just have a basic reply that's probably 5 pages that went to the special printer. I don't know if I'm learning things about the special printers for the United States Supreme Court because everything has to be done in a format that's like you have to pay somebody.
Really?
It was close to $5,000 just to file the September 9th one because you had to do the appendix. And I think they charge like $20 a page.
Oh.
Wow.
It just goes on and on and on and on.
Right.
But it's Friday. The whole file will be printed and given to the justices there. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm praying for a miracle.
Oh my God. So
I mean,
that goes
for justice.
Yeah. Friday. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Look at me. I'm going to go on another little side note. But one thing about Juston's case and what happened at the First Circuit is that there is something called summary judgment. And there's summary judgment standards. So in a particular case, you get to like the civil rights case, you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, we have all of our evidence. Hey, judge, we have all the evidence. Guess what? We have qualified immunity, so you should just dismiss the case, right? So that's summary judgment. You rule on summary judgment. They ruled in favor for them with the summary judgment, but what people don't understand is that the way in which they did that, they have changed summary judgment standards, because now they are making inferences. They are, assessing the credibility of the officers. They're letting the disputed fact of whether Juston reached or didn't reach or could reach in his condition, they're making that determination. And that's really for a jury to decide. And that's what really has bothered me, is that we, as my family, deserves to be with a jury trial for them to hear and go through that. That's not the judges. So now these judges have done that. And it's not going to be just for Juston's case. They're setting down case law. Now it will be for Massachusetts, and it will be for the First Circuit Court. All these little changes where we're getting our rights taken away, of our right to a jury and the function of a jury. So I hope we win for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you think about what you just said, though. Listen to all this, what you've had to learn
Right.
over the course of time. Oh my God.
It makes my brain hurt. And then sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
now we're going to talk about Glocks and 22s, and if it's a 45 caliber and a 40 caliber, and he doesn't know, like, I'm just like, but I do want to say a shout out to Anne-Marie, because she's my justice sister. She's an impacted family member who, thank God, she reached out to me. And because she knows exactly what, like, it was so good to talk to somebody who like knew. I didn't have to like explain stuff to them. And that's really been the saving grace for me, honestly, because it was a few years ago that she reached out to me. And that sort of support is really what has kept me mentally sane. Because you start to be like, what?
No, absolutely. You need something to keep you grounded. So that's, thank you, Anne-Marie. Yeah, Judy's asking, is there a place to donate for Juston for merch? I do have a link for the merch, but is there actually a donation page as well, or is that one of the
I've
same?
never done the donation page. Maybe I will, because I do need a little help with the Brigham case. We were about $160,000-$170,000 in, because we had to do all experts. Then you have your private investigator, then you have all your depositions. We had to go through several law enforcement experts, so that cost about $70,000. It's quite a journey, but I have merchandise on Juston's on the first page that I have it for no profit. So you're basically, because the shipping is so expensive, I have it just for zero profit, just because I appreciate anybody who wears any of Juston's gear, and anything. So I'm just like, I just want to make it more accessible for everybody at every budget point. And I think at some point I might be able to do some sort of GoFundMe type of situation, so that,
Yeah, definitely let us know, because we'll spread that like wildfire.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, anything we can do to help out. I actually was looking at them. She had one of the shirts on, right? Is that one of the shirts that's merch?
Yeah,
actually
those are
both
great.
do, yeah.
Awesome.
Did those microdot shirts?
Oh, I made it.
Really?
You
Okay,
did?
okay.
Wow, those are great.
I pretty much have done everything. I did the website. I've done all the stuff.
Wow.
Ironically, not ironically, but I mean, I went to Emerson College, so I have a degree in marketing and advertising. And so I just, was able to fall into this and just like, build a website. Now I have a back database. So anybody who fills out the petition will be in our database. So anytime we have standouts now, I, can send a group email with pictures and everything, and it blasts out to everybody. The database goes farther than here. It really was developed because we wanted to ask the question, when law enforcement, kill, should they investigate themselves? And that's where it really started to happen. I looked into all sorts of programs. So this is called Every Action, and it's like a campaigning software. And we used it to connect with a lot more other impact family members across the United States. But, and then I use it too to send Justin's visual information out. It's good for really big events, but I don't do any really big events, but someday maybe.
Oh, absolutely. But that's great. Again, utilize your background to help everything you can. So, it's amazing what people jump in, through over the course of the past, year and a half, 2 years we've been involved. I don't know, whatever the time frame has been. The people that jump in and offer up, different, services throughout everything. Everybody has a different role in this whole process. There's people that, handle the raffles. There's people that, have, shows and get people on to speak and organize standouts. And everybody has a role. And it's amazing to see the family that's, Tracy said, the family that's grown here over the course of time. And everybody looks out for each other. And that's, you guys are part of the family now. I'm glad you're involved, and obviously I'm sad that we met under the circumstances as such, but we're here for a reason.
Yeah. So when is? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, you think that one person can't make a difference, but I'm slowly starting to realize myself, because you know, like when we vote, every vote counts type of thing. But one person can make a difference, because and you don't realize what you're able to handle until you're in a situation. And I mean, obviously, who wouldn't want Jen as their biggest advocate? I mean, she's amazing, and she's able to speak about this. And I know it's hard for her, but I know she feels a purpose in trying to spread the word about the truth of what happened to her brother.
Sure.
So I think you definitely don't realize that one person can make a difference. And you realize that, when I got up and spoke at Morrissey's office, if I'm being truthful, that was the first time I've ever spoken in front of a crowd. And I figured, I just told myself, just read what I had some words written down. I just read slowly and just tried to do my best. And you don't realize what you're able to handle unless you just, when you find a purpose, it's amazing what you can do. So one person definitely can make a difference. And then obviously together we're stronger.
Right. We've definitely learned that over the past couple of years, that one person can make a difference. So speaking of standouts, do you guys have any scheduled? Is there one? I thought I heard there's one this weekend. Is that?
No, I don't know.
No? Oh, okay.
I wanted to just say one thing though. This was inspired though from microdots, because I saw
Yeah.
I saw the same thing, and I thought by the time it gets to me or Justin's case, you know what I mean? So I was like, so I went into a program. I was like, I'm gonna try to do this. Right?
Wow, you did a great job. It came out good.
I did. I thought he did it for you. That's great.
Yeah.
And you know what I think too, just on that note, is that, it's kind of like we're, obviously my husband, it's been a very, it's hard when this happens to someone, and then all of a sudden you've changed in a way, and, your time and energy is like half over here, and I just like look at him and I go, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not like I have a choice here. It's like, I'm doing this. I feel like I have been called to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. So I know that there was a purpose in all of this. And like, when you move and speak and go from your heart and with love and for the greater goodness of everyone, then beautiful things can happen.
Yep.
Yep. It's very true. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, Tracy said that, when it all, I wasn't initially completely on board with everything that was going on with the Karen Reed thing. I was getting educated, but she was already, elbow deep, and, this is what's going on with the case at that point in 2023. And she was waiting for her calling, I guess, like you say. And then she told me, she's like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. And
I'm doing this now.
Yeah, you can, And I was like, okay.
Not a question.
Yeah. And it just, called to her. And then, I didn't jump on board because, all right, I'm going to support her. Of course I was supporting her, but I was like, Oh, I'm involved as
Yeah.
well. Like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what everybody's doing. What's going on. People are opening their eyes. And again, you know, having you guys on and having different platforms and whatnot to discuss, you know, and get the word out. Because if, you know, we have a handful of, you know, we have like 47 people watching now. We typically have a rewatch crew that watches. We get, you know, a bunch of views after the fact because we always, every time we go on, like the glare is on. And
Yeah,
all these
everybody's
other
on
guys-
right now.
Everybody's
so
on. So,
we
you
expect
know,
to be
so
watching.
we get rewatch crew. But again, if like the 47 people in this chat all walk away and tell
Oh, yeah.
one other person and so on and so on, and it's just
We have a couple people who are just like, hey, I want to get involved and they want to come to the standouts or right, then we then it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Even if we just reach one person.
Right.
Yeah.
We're reaching a lot more people than that, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you guys
And
are
we
doing
have the truth on our side, right? So when you're telling your truth, it's easy. We don't have to sit here and make up a lie. You know, it flows. You don't even think about it. It just, the truth is on our side.
Yep.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that you know, you got to keep positive, right? And that's kind of, you know, I guess over almost 5 years now, Jen. I mean, you know, trying to keep the, you know, the positive, like, okay, we're pushing forward because it's a fight. You know, going up against these people with, you know, they have guns, they have the guns, right? They have the power. Going up against it, it's not an easy battle at all, but
Especially after a loss like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you lost a family member and now you have to deal with this crap.
Well, I've always said in my speeches, like, I'm not against law enforcement. I mean,
we're not either.
I am for accountability. And what really, really bothers me that like everyone should be about accountability, including the officers. And so it's like that notion of like, just because you speak out means that you're not being supportive. And it's like, no, who said that? This is about accountability. Come on.
Right.
If your loved one, this happened to them, wouldn't you want the truth?
Exactly.
And don't get me wrong. Listen, the wheels of justice go very, very slow.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like slow. I'm like, let's do this. Let's get on it. Like, get it done. I don't want to talk about it, right? Like, I mean, my lawyers a long time ago, they were like, Jen, this is a marathon. Okay. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't understand the legal system. They just stretch it out, draw it out.
Yeah.
If you go to get people to interview, now it's been years. They don't recall. I mean, it's just a joke, right? You're like, but I have to say that with, you know, the wheels of justice move very slowly. And what I've come to terms with is that, you know, I might not be able to accomplish all the things that I want in this lifetime. I can certainly have my dream list, but as long as we're moving forward, and it's going to be slow. But as long as we're going in that direction, that's what matters, right? Because one person can change the world and a group of people can change things and shed light on things and other stuff opens up. And so the thing, you know, watching the Karen Reed trial, and at that time I couldn't really come out and meet anybody or stand out there because we were in the First Circuit. My lawyers were like, we want you to keep a look, you know, you should not be out, right? And don't be surprised. Like if we were to come back, I'm sure I'm going to have to like go back into hibernation, you know, but like, but the thing is if you're speaking the truth, like what's the issue? I don't have any issue with saying like, yeah, I went out and I spoke, but I spoke the truth. I'm not out there lying. You guys lied. You all lied.
Right.
And you wanted to keep the lie out there. And, you know, you fight hard to like change it. But watching the trial and just realizing and seeing all these people wake up is like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't think I would be seeing people waking up. Because I got a big hard knock of waking up 5 years ago where I was like, whoa, I knew things could have been a little shady, but I didn't know like this level.
Yeah.
To the level of like, it didn't even like, couldn't even comprehend it in my brain. And I was like, holy spot, like, fuck. So now knowing that people have come out and are waking up and more people are waking up and more people are like getting educated. That's what we have to do. We have to educate everyone about the processes, the systems, what they're doing, what's happening. And I always say, justice for Karen Reed is justice for us all.
Yep, that's very true.
It is. I mean, it's a like you say, it's a marathon. It is. It's unfortunate, unfortunately, the justice system isn't like Law and Order on TV,
Yeah.
and it's an hour long, and they solve the case and put the right people away, and it's just it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I mean, when we first got involved in the Karen Reed case and started going to pre-trial and doing all this other stuff, I'm like, all right, this will be over probably a handful of months or whatever. And like, okay, we're getting ready to go back again, month and a half. It's like, oh, for the love of God. I don't get it. It moves too slow for me. Like you say, just let's go.
And then you just wonder, like, are they like literally on purpose doing it slow so people can just like suck out all the tax dollars? I mean, I don't know what the point of this is. What's the point? What's the point? And I mean, is she gonna? I hope Judge Bev there is gonna be pushing it to April 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She may not have a choice because the Supreme Court still hasn't rendered their decision, and they had it up until like 140 days. But the other thing I was going to mention too is that, sorry, I think I lost my train of thought. I had a thought in my head and then I messed it up. But I remembered. And in the meantime, time is passing us by, and the bad people are still out there. That's what's messed up. Is that all this time is being spent on persecuting the wrong person, and the bad people are still out there. Yep. Same thing with Juston's case. The bad people are still out there that can potentially cause harm to others. So that's scary.
That is scary.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, look at Sandra's case. Look at how long Farwell was just out and about, years.
Yep.
Just walking around like nothing happened, not a care in the world. It's like
so unacceptable. It's how dare they? But then you just keep seeing them, and it's like the arrogance.
Yeah.
They're like, we're untouchable. Which, by the way, there's a book called "How the Police Became Untouchable" by Schwartz, Joanna Schwartz.
Yeah.
Do you know the book, Tracy?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that I read the whole book, but I have communicated with the author several times.
Oh, wow.
Sent her Juston's case and stuff, and read quite a few of her articles and things. And I read some of the book. I can't actually finish books.
I can't either. I can't either. I don't know.
I can't finish books. If you ask me about reading, I'm like, I'm nothing.
Yeah, my attention is good, but I'd rather see the movie.
Because it talks about how they became untouchable.
Yeah.
And the only way to change things is to know things.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just have to make sure that more and more people know.
Yeah.
And so that's a really great book for anybody. Like I think that that's a good book to understand things a lot deeper of how the police became untouchable.
Now, what's the name of that again?
How the police came untouchable.
How the police became untouchable. Is that the right one, Anne-Marie? Is that the right? Am I saying? Hello. It's Joanna Schwartz. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's How the Police Became Untouchable.
Okay, I'm just making a note. I'll check it out.
What, just so you know, too, this is a side note, not a side note, but a different side note. But I have impactedfamilies.com, and on there, I do have a resources area because there were reports or things that I found very useful for families to know and find out. And also, there's a book called "It's Okay, You're Not Okay," which deals with grief, and I think that's really important for people to know. I obviously haven't been able to grieve too much at all because it's like I'm fighting and fighting and fighting. And you're just like in a vortex. You can't even like process it. But that book, It's Okay, You're Not Okay, is really about honoring your grief and your pain. And it's okay. And so I would just always be like, when I have a bad day or you feel like deflated, when everything's like, gosh, no matter what I do, it's all shit. That's a really good kind of book to like pick yourself back up be okay with that. Like, I'm going to have a bad day. I might have a bad week, but I'm going to be, it's going to be part of the process. You're going through it.
Yep.
And anyway, it just helps to kind of mainframe when you feel like everything's going down. But anyway, I have resources there and links and things like that. And that's where I try to connect with more families that have lost a loved one to police. And then on there, I also list out things that I'd like to see happen, like especially with body-worn cameras, with Juston's. Several of the Boston police officers were supposed to have their body-worn cameras on, recording.
Right.
Only one was recording, and it went dark just before the shooting and during the shooting. I don't understand. I just, like, she apparently puts it all the way over here. Okay. And so if you take your gun out, you're going to cover it. She still wears it in the same place. So, there's things like that where it's like body worn camera programs. We want detailed policies. And Anne-Marie and I were on a lot of the body worn camera task force for Massachusetts, where they were putting together like just template policies that they can give to different law enforcement agencies. And they really weren't really receptive to our public comments that we made multiple times about being specific about placement, about not letting it be up to the discretion of an officer, whether it's on or off. So there's just like a lot of different pieces that play into accountability. So that's what that's about.
Really?
You get passionate about all these different avenues because you realize, like my brother's case, like, where's the body worn camera? Our tax dollars are paying, and you have these things, and we want to make sure people are using them.
Right. Oh yeah, I did. I shared the petition at the. I pinned it to the chat.
Yeah, if anyone needs it, it's at the top of the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, I'm like, does anybody have a question in the chat? I'm just wondering. Hold on.
I'm reading the chat, and
good. Okay.
It's just like my thoughts. Everyone's just like, I can't believe it. I can't believe the story. What a bunch of scumbag. It's just, I'm listening, and my jar's on the ground. I can't even believe it. But that's, I don't. Does anyone have any questions for Jen or Beatrice?
Yeah, well, you're thinking about questions too. So, like, have you been on any, like, obviously you've been on other YouTube channels and stuff like that. And what are like major networks that pick this up? Is anybody really truly following it? I know that whatever the NBC Confidential, whatever, is doing something, but not that great of a job. Is there anybody that's representing you well?
No, that was like really disappointing. 2 hours here and talked with my dad. And I know that they had time constraints, and I do appreciate that the reporter, Glenn Jones, we did have some dialogue back and forth, and I feel like we both heard each other out. Mm-hmm. And they, typically news stations, they don't allocate a lot of time to these things. Like 3 minutes is a lot, right? And so he had to cut down a lot of stuff. But that was not, fully sharing Juston's whole story. And there hasn't been, hey, I'm looking for somebody. If they, how in the beginning with Karen Reed, I think Turtle Boy had some sort of thing at the top of his YouTube that, like, if you don't know anything, this is something to watch.
Yeah, like the frame video.
Something for Juston. We have gone on other YouTube shows, and I was on Sean's show, Going with the Motions. I think he was the first, bigger YouTuber that gave me his platform, which I'll be always grateful for. That he said, Jen, it's all you. You talk, you do the whole thing, and I appreciate that because nothing like that was extended to me up until that point, really. I went on Brian's show, but we didn't really get into nuts and bolts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Show, we were able to show stuff. I was able to show the slow video and, just like the things that make sense. And I think even for Juston's vigil that I'll have February 7th, which anybody and everyone can come to, I'm going to try to rent like a television and actually play some of the stuff now that I'm kind of out of the weeds of legal stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
It's time for people to like to see, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did a lot of research looking into this tonight, and I wanted to have a bunch of stuff prepared, but I just did. I didn't have the time. It happened quick, you know. Tracy's like, I met Beatrice, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then last week, the other day was my birthday, so I just was like, okay, like, I didn't get much done on Sunday.
But we can definitely put all that stuff on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll
too.
share. Yeah, because we got a bunch of. I got all the links and everything set up. Beatrice sent me. I appreciate what you sent me. You sent me a whole bunch of information. So, again, like you really got me grounded in a lot of the story. Like I said, the more I read, then hearing what you both are saying tonight, it's just such.
Shocking.
Yeah, it really is.
Shocking.
It's shocking what the hell they're doing and how they think they're so untouchable and they can get away with this. I hope that things go well on Friday. You know, I mean, what do you think? What are your thoughts going into it? Feelings?
It's mixed feelings because part of me wants to believe that. I don't know, because like all through this process, I could hear my brother saying like Supreme Court, Jen. Like, I don't know, like I could hear and I was like, no.
Oh.
Right. And then, you're thinking like, there's no way that the judges are gonna like, right? They're not gonna do this, but there's two judges that were in the First Circuit. There was one judge that didn't agree with them. She understood the case. The other two, this is kind of what they do. They used a previous case that is so different to Juston's to shut Juston's case down. And so those two are up to changing a lot of case law. But anyway, so we've gotten to the US Supreme Court, and they'll get the full doc. And I think that I think it could be 30 days or 45 days that they'll make a determination if they are going to accept the petition. So with acceptance, we don't know what that could mean. They can accept it and say they want to hear the case, which would mean then I've got to pay for every DC. And I have to do that, which I don't think that will happen. Okay. If it did, that's great, but I don't think that's realistic. The only realistic thing that I think could happen is that they remand us back here to go to trial. And that would be, that would be good, because it's more about the truth. I want the truth, and I want it to go in a public way, and I want everybody to know what the hell those people did.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't tell you though that the guy who kicked Juston and then the guy from Boston who was closest to him, they were both EMTs before they were police officers.
Wow.
And lawyers would be like, Jen, it doesn't matter because a layman's person would know. I go, I know, but I mean, you could be, but you were trained too. Like, so right. I think that's actually bad. It's really bad. But I want to also say that, Mizzy and I have talked, and we're gonna, come up with some other plans of doing some more joint standouts, and
right.
Because that's really what it is boots on the ground and people power, and letting them know we're not going to be quiet. And yeah, I just think that for the holidays, I'm going to be taking a little break. I need a little break because I've been doing all the stuff the last week and reading all the case stuff, and it's like enough to make you go crazy because you're like looking at it and you're talking about the totality of the circumstances and whose circumstances. And I mean, I don't know, like you get it. I'm like, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm like, I could be a lawyer. I would get so mad. It bothered me. You know what I mean? Like this stuff really bothers me. It really bothers me watching Bev too. I know that like some of the stuff is like legit, like probably like law stuff, but today explaining about like them trying to get her father's phone and how that's I don't know, her lawyer said it was this particular thing, and it means that they're not going to be able to get his phone. I'm like, yeah, so just like listen to the law.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Rule on it right now. You can actually rule on it right now, and you should, because it's set in case law that it shouldn't be, right? So anyway, okay.
I'll take it under advisement. Oh, again?
Yeah.
Beloved God, you're killing me here.
Yep.
Yeah, the advisement. I'm like, okay. I went to the courthouse today. I was just outside. I didn't go in because I didn't know if I needed to leave. But anyway, it was good to get down there and see everybody.
Yeah, we couldn't make it today, but I watched. I mean, no, I didn't watch from work. But yeah, there was a good crowd there. What else is I gonna?
Sorry.
They're having trouble. People are having trouble getting the link on the for the petition, so we're trying to repost it.
You know, if you just go to justonroot.com, I have it set up so that when you first go to that page, it will pop up.
Okay.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
that's the easiest thing. If you're having any issues, just like it will pop up. And just
Okay.
know that when we do have some more standouts, if you've done the petition, you're very likely going to get, if you're in Massachusetts or New England, because when I do the petition or I do like Justin's visual, I'm going to do New England.
Yeah.
So if you're in New England and you fill that out, you will be alerted about some of these collaborative standouts and also Justin's visual February 7th, 2025.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Be sure to sign it so we can get on that list too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you ever have any other, feel free to reach out, or even if you want to, call me if you have any other kind of things that come to mind that you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh,
And vice versa,
yeah,
please. If you guys have anything you need to say, get out there, whatever, just let us know.
Yeah, I mean, you got standouts planned. I mean, I reach out to Mizzy all the time just to make sure there's nothing going on or what's going on. And she's constantly keeping me updated on what's going on in the Birchmore case. So please feel free, to do the same with us. Reach out, keep us posted. Obviously, we'll follow whatever's on the Facebook page. For anybody who doesn't know, there is a Facebook page as well. Justice for Juston Root, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Go to the Facebook page because that's where we put a bunch of stuff. It's a lot easier and quicker because when I have to do the program stuff, it's a little more time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Takes a little more brain power that I don't have.
I don't want to use it anymore.
And like I jump in and I'm like, I'm not technological, but people are like, yeah, you are. No, I'm really not. I'm just you learn a lot of stuff, but so just we'll reach out. And I'm sorry I didn't get to go Sunday. I wanted to go on Sunday, but I had soccer games and stuff. But
no.
Oh my gosh, I saw the picture and everybody there. That was so awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was really
The best carrot cake ever.
Oh my God.
By Brenda. Oh,
she's amazing, isn't she?
Oh, I want that.
So good.
Yeah, it's so good.
it was like so fresh with like real stuff, real ingredients.
Yeah.
Not from a bakery with preservatives and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Made with love.
I was gonna say, made with love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was she'd made it one time before. We had it during the summer, and I raved about it. I'm like, oh my God, it's the greatest stuff ever. So she's like, oh, for your birthday, we one cake or two. I'm like, what?
I know.
What?
We had an awesome, amazing, humongous standout. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was I think somebody counted there was like 75 people maybe. I got to look through the picture again.
Yeah,
there
was a lot of people.
But then at the time we took the picture, actually, some people had already left.
Yeah.
So it was bigger. Big. So that was a great turnout. And we had only been up to Legacy Place. It was like our third time.
Yeah, we haven't been.
Yeah.
We're so far from there, so we kind of go to the local ones around us. But I mean, that's the place to be.
It is. That's my favorite.
I gotta get there.
It is the place to be.
It's an hour drive for me, but I love it. The people are amazing. It's so worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
We're gonna try to get down to Middleborough or Raynham this weekend.
Yeah, we've been promising them to come by, but we haven't had the time.
So
we're definitely going to try to make it there this weekend. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you who has signed the petition. That's great.
Everyone's signing it. Looks like everyone's getting in there and signing it. That's great.
Yeah, we'll sign it as well this evening for sure.
Sorry.
Oh, the dog.
Our dog is chasing our cat.
So cute.
I got my cat earlier, right before we were starting. My cat likes to go to my office door and like take her claws down the glass continuously.
Oh God.
Oh really?
I was like, I'm gonna bring her in, and I was like, well, she might just start like stepping over, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, she wasn't there. I was like, I did it all day, and then Amber.
These animals.
They're
I'll
so
tell you.
funny, aren't they? I love cats. I love their
Well, the
personality.
cat usually stays high, but she must have slipped. to
She's getting
something.
bigger, so she's
Yeah.
jumping on things and jumping off things. So the dog has more access to her now. So
Oh, it's
Oh, and
always-
a fun fact is that my cat, it was actually Justin's cat's daughter,
oh,
named Susan, which I think is hilarious. They named his cat Susan.
I love that.
Anyway, this is her daughter, but she's like 13 now. And her name's
Oh, what's her name?
Penelope.
Oh, that's so cute.
She doesn't like to pee, so
Yeah.
it's a big joke. I'm like, okay, Penelope. But anyway, it feels like she's like really part of the family in another way. Because I remember when something happened to her, I was like hysterical because I was like, "This is my brother's cat of the family." Could I like, you know,
Oh, right.
like,
Oh, wow.
you know,
Yeah.
anyway, she was okay, but I got like, I didn't
Yeah.
realize.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, dude, my other cat's part of the family too. I love my other cat too, but she's a lot younger and feistier. So.
Yeah, we have 3 cats.
Yeah, we have
and they're all completely different personalities, but that their name Timmy is a girl.
Yeah.
Pablo.
is
Also a
also a
girl.
girl, actually.
And then we have the
Good.
baby is Luch. I named her after Milan Lucic from the Bruins.
Yeah, so they're all female cats with male names.
And how do they integrate? Well, I mean, because it was a little tough there in the beginning.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, in the beginning, I was like, oh boy, I wasn't signed up for this. I told my neighbor I wanted another cat. And literally the next day, she brought cats.
Oh my God.
Oh, really?
Like,
Oh,
I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, ask and you shall receive. Like, but I wasn't
Yeah.
like that fast.
yeah, all right.
And then I held the one cat and I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
take you home.
That's me.
Yeah,
I
seriously,
know.
right?
And then my son wants more cats, and of course my neighbor's cat had kittens, and I'm like, no,
Oh,
no.
no.
cat.
It's so hard to say no. I know.
You didn't hear that.
I know. Like, where's your neighbor?
Oh yeah, she's having some kittens. Yeah,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'll go like hold them, and I can just be with them, and then
Yeah, I could never not walk out of there with one.
No,
That's my
no,
problem.
no.
it's so
Exactly.
cute, so cute. It makes your heart go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well-
Listen, thank you so much for having us on and hearing Justin's story. And
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for
there's
sharing
a
it.
lot still that, like, if anybody wants to be a deep diver, there's so much material. I feel like
Yeah.
something new, but like this is the the nuts and bolts of being able to.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we wanted to have you on, just to kind of give like the more of the high level overview. We'd love to have you back again, and we can kind of get into some specifics.
Yeah.
Get some videos up and go through and walk through whatever you'd like. So, we'll definitely keep in touch. But this has been great. I feel better that I'm educated, but I feel like I'm. It's really mind-blowing. It's heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy.
It's shocking, and I know in the beginning, and I was saying this the other night. I don't know where. Oh, I jumped on some Twitter radio thing, which I'm going to do next Thursday. And I'm so sorry, I don't even know what it's called, but you're now in like a radio. It's like a radio type of thing. But wait, what was the point of that? I don't remember. I'm losing my mind. I don't remember what it was about. Sorry, guys.
That's
About
all right.
getting the information out there.
After 9 o'clock, I literally turn into.
I'm shutting it down. It's 9
If you
o'clock.
want to talk to me at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
You're one of those.
Yeah.
sorry, I just had that like. Boop.
No, that's all right. It
good.
happens to us all the time.
So were you talking about the Twitter and getting on there and about giving the information? I think you were starting to say.
Well, I mean, that makes me think of something else, but I've always thought about it'd be nice to like, I don't know, how was it Aussie Out Loud? He was going through like the court documents, and I think it's very interesting to go through court documents and talk about the different legal points, because that's part of understanding some bigger picture stuff. Is like
Sure.
really understanding what some of our case law stuff is. And it also brings up just like the legal points and probably stuff that I never talked about.
Yeah,
Right?
you gotta figure it. And again, the more you hear it, the more you really start to understand what it all means, because there's so much the jargon and all that stuff. It's like, what the hell are they talking? What are they talking about now? Like, what does that mean? But then you start researching it because it's something that obviously you need to know. You have to educate yourself, to make things go forward. You have to have knowledge. So, but no, we're really, I'm very happy that you guys were both able to come on. It's been, Jen finally getting, to meet you. We'll see you in person soon, I'm sure. And Beatrice, it was nice meeting you in person the other
Yes.
day.
Same here.
This
You
is
guys
why
are amazing.
back to me. I like it. My thought came back.
There it is.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. It was in the beginning when this happened, because it is very shocking. And at that time it was all over the news all the time. I mean, it was a lot of stuff going on. It was heavily put out there. And I don't know, my friends or anybody would come and see me, but like, they're just like, I don't even know what to say. And I look at them, I go, I don't even know what to say. I mean, because we're both just like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
we couldn't even, it's almost like you didn't even know if you were in reality, because it was so shocking to you. And it was so shocking. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'm just like, we could just, I don't know. I can't even say anything. This is just out of control, like out of your mind. Like,
Right.
so that's what I know. It's like shocking. And then sometimes where I've told people, I'm like, whoa, I mean, it's a lot of information to digest and it's heavy. And when I share it, it might not come across that, but it is very heavy. But I share it in a informational Jen way.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I'm still in shock. Like, I'm still in shock. And when I rewatch some of the videos, I mean, it's traumatic. And then I just look at them like you
Yeah.
know, so,
Yeah.
anyway, but that's a side note. We won't go on and on, but yes, let's keep in touch, and
Yeah.
be watching your show, and I appreciate your platform, and I really like your community, your community based, and like, let's keep it positive and let's
Yep.
be stronger together, and we gotta cancel out the noise. I don't know, any stuff that was going on. Just as a family member, just want you to know that I'm not going to get into any specifics, but it really weighed heavily on my heart and made me feel like sad and depressed a couple days, where I was like, oh, because everybody stay focused, stay positive, handle anything that's going on over here, because this is so important. And family member to see a diversion is heartbreaking, and let's keep it stronger together.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
said.
I totally agree. Thank you.
All right. Good
All
night.
right, guys.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
All right. We'll
Thank
see
you,
you
guys.
soon. Okay.
Take
Thanks
care.
again.
Well,
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Well, that was awesome.
yeah, that was again, it's still mind blowing. Like, the more I wrap my head around it, and then hearing what she really sharing the story and how she found out and that it's really this one's gonna resonate a little
Yeah,
bit.
this was, I'm going to probably log off and cry for a little while. Seriously, I was
We'll watch your
holding
video
it in
later.
a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I hate to say it, but it's just friggin' typical of what's going on in the state right now. And, God knows how long it's been going on. This is like normal practice for them. And I mean, seeing those pictures that she held up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. That's really, it's crazy.
But like she said, let's keep positive. Let's, we're stronger together. She's right. She's absolutely right. We are stronger together, and we do have to just keep moving forward and deal with the shit over here.
Yep.
So.
Avoid the noise.
Avoid the noise. Do you want to do anything else? Because it's kind of late. Turtle Boy's on.
No, it's kind of late. We're gonna give everybody back their evening. People are bouncing off. And
I got a
going
couple
to do
more
their things.
donations, though, I wanted to mention. Tina sent $10. Tina, who's always very generous as well. Thank you. She said, thanks for keeping it real. I appreciate your show. And she sent $10.
Thanks, Tina.
Also, my good friend Erica, one of my mods, sent us $10. She said, love you guys. Love you too, Erica. Thanks for doing a great job tonight.
Yeah, she's probably already left.
I think she did.
Thanks
but,
a lot, Erica.
I know, right? I'll slap her tomorrow. And also, I want to thank Lauren for being an awesome mod tonight, too. So,
Yes, thank you all. Thanks for the mods and everybody in the chat. You know, again, we do this show for everyone. You know, I mean, you know, we want to have everyone to have a voice and everyone to feel, you know,
comfortable.
And that's, you know, reach out, let us know. Again, we say it all the time. If you want, do you want to come on? Let us know. If you know somebody we should have on, let us know.
Yeah.
We're just, you know, making it up as we go, but you know, we wouldn't do it if, you know, you people weren't here supporting and
We love you guys.
yeah, we do. It's good. Thank you. That's a good thing.
We do. We have the best, like Jen said, we have the best community. We have the best chat.
Yep.
Everyone's just so supportive and great. And we love you. We love you.
Yep. Mizzy, you're very welcome. That was quite
Yeah. That was,
quite
we're
humble.
both just kind of, yeah.
I'm kind of speechless at this stage trying to digest this. But yeah, thank you. I'm glad that, you know, I hope that more people talk about this case. I think it's important. I think that, you know, more people to talk about Sandra's case. You know, Karen's case is very, very out there and prominent, obviously. But you know, all these cases are super important, and they all have the same players and
Same
involved.
freaking
It's the damn
It's horrible.
blows my mind. These pieces of shit.
They're destroying families, destroying people, and they just don't even care. Yeah, this one's gonna.
Yeah, this will be a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yep.
Yeah.
So on that note, Thursday is Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. Eat, drink, and be merry.
Yes, please do that.
Yes, and have some.
Yes, have some.
Yeah, we're gonna haul down some serious food. We got a big bird ready to roll.
Yeah, we host, so.
Yeah. So we got a big bird and a ham and
Big Bird and Snuffle. We got
Big Bird and Snuffy.
Snuffle. What? All right, we should go. We should go. You are. Okay. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to all. And we will see you maybe Sunday. We're not sure. We'll see how the week goes with Jen. But definitely next Tuesday. Do we have anybody lined up for next Tuesday?
Not at this point, no.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We'll get on that.
Yeah. It's tough with the holidays.
Yeah, it is tough with the holidays.
Birthdays. Now I'm old and I don't remember.
Dana's birthday.
Christ.
All right, guys. Thank you again. And we'll talk to you soon.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Love you guys.